FoodPolicyUS is pleased to present this educational series highlighting issues and debates in our food system. Join us each week as we hear from leaders and innovators around the table.
I realize that there is, it's like a rat race. There's this scramble. You go to work, you come home, and then when it gets to be that dinner time hour, it's a race to get something on the table quickly. And I feel like a lot of people turn to convenience foods, whether it's carry out or processed foods, in order to get dinner on the table quickly. So I created Weekly Greens to demystify the notion of cooking at home, of getting a bag of groceries filled with fresh, whole foods and turning them into dinner in the same amount of time that it would take to warm something up or get carry out. It can be done. So this was my way to show people how to do it. I have two sons. The oldest one is almost 7 and the little one is 4. I've been writing Weekly Greens for about 2 years, and before that, of course, I was cooking. So it's been very fun to see them get excited about choosing foods and ask for specific things. My oldest son, his favorite meal is lamb, which I've only cooked probably 3 or 4 times. I don't make a whole lot of lamb, but that's just something he really likes. He also really likes sauteed spinach with crispy garlic. Again, something I made once or twice, and it just sort of stuck. So it's been fun to see them sort of develop tastes for food that's real and is good and is actually prepared very simply. But the best meals, I think, the ones that go over best at my house are really the simplest, like a very simple roast chicken with maybe a side of sweet potatoes and broccoli. I mean, very basic, but it's nutritious, it's filling, it's clean, everybody likes it. Those are all foods that my kids like. And I think their palates are probably a little broader than the average, elementary school children, but it's because I repeatedly introduce things to them, and even if it's something that's been rejected in the past, it doesn't hurt to try a new preparation or just try it again, because you just never know when they're gonna take a bite and say, wow, that actually tastes good. I'd like some more of that. We, in our heads, we think kids don't like vegetables. Kids like chicken fingers and macaroni and cheese. They like nothing green. And I think if you put a kid in that box, they're going to stay in that box. But if you start introducing things, you just never know what they're going to pick up on. And it might be that one day they reject something, but the next day they try it. I've had friends over for dinner, and let's say I've made something like salmon, and the parents will say, oh, Susie doesn't like salmon. I'm like, maybe she didn't yesterday, but you never know. And then they're shocked and surprised when the salmon is gone. Wow, she's never tried that before. And I think part of it is that we have to introduce it. And if we don't introduce it, we just don't know.
We must learn to involve our children in the growing food movement for the sake of our futures. From an early age, this means teaching them about health and nutrition, as well as the wonders of our modern food system.
I think some people have this notion that healthy eating has to be very rigid. It can't include sweets or fried things, and I reject that notion. I think a healthy diet is about moderation and about variety. I think there is room for sweet treats. I cook with real butter. I definitely use salt. But I think it all fits in somewhere. We eat our vegetables, we eat our fruits, we try to get enough fiber through whole grains, we try to eat lean meat, and I think there's certainly room for meals that maybe are not as full of nutrients, but that's what it's all about, is finding that balance. I think it's also important to teach kids that your body is hungry for growing foods that are going to make it strong and healthy, but it's okay to indulge as well. I think for kids, it's all about letting them help. They're very eager, they're very curious. We have little stools we can pull up to the counter and let the kids, certainly not handle knives or hot things, but there's ways you can get kids engaged. I think it helps to bring them to the market and let them have some say in what we're going to buy.